So let's not forget, this man earns 1.3 million quid of your TV licence fees, and that equates to 8,176 households paying the TV licence for Gary Lineker. That's the big story here. That's it. Hi, it's me again. And yeah, Lineker's back in the news. Back in the news again over his tweets, but there's no point worrying about it. Like it says here, look at this headline, look. BBC urged to sack Lineker after he compares UK immigration policy to Nazi Germany. I don't care what he tweets. I literally don't care what he tweets. It wasn't that long ago he had an argument with a BBC journalist on Twitter because he was spouting his opinion, as he's entitled to do apparently, and a BBC journalist said, "How are you allowed to do this? Have you got a different contract to mine?" Blah, blah, blah. It went all through, and the journalist thought Lineker was in the wrong, grassed him up to the boss. The boss went, "No, Lineker can do whatever he wants. You must apologise, Mr. Neil Henderson." And he had to tweet him an apology. Gary is above the law at the BBC. He can say and do whatever he wants. And he will. He will continue to do that. But that's not the big issue here. I don't know why. That's the bit that gets all the headlines. I don't care what he's tweeting. And the more newspapers report on it, the more you see it on telly, and the more radio stations are discussing it, the more he's going to do it. He loves it. He loves sucking up that attention, doesn't he? Just blank him on there. The point we need to talk about Gary Lineker with is the 1.3 million quid a year the man gets for sitting on a sofa talking about football a couple of times a week with his mates. That's the most ridiculous thing. Gary Lineker is the highest paid earner at the BBC. There are higher paid presenters, you know, but they hide it with BBC Studios. But the BBC themselves, he is the highest paid person, getting paid over 8,000 households worth of licence fees. That's the big debate we need to have here. Is that value for money? That's what you have to think, because it's public money. The TV licence fee is public money. It comes from you. You might be struggling. You might be scared of the letters that you get if you don't pay the licence fee. You might be scared of a knock on the door, so you're paying your television licence fee. And that money is going to Lineker. Do you think that's okay? Or would you prefer it to be spent more wisely? Is it value for money? Public money has to be spent wisely. Now, could you find someone else to present the football at an equal quality level to Lineker for a lot less money? Of course you could. How many ex-footballers out there are just as knowledgeable as Gary Lineker and can present as well as him, and would do it for what, 100 grand just to be on the telly because they miss the fame that football used to bring? You're telling me you couldn't find that? Are you seriously telling me, BBC, if you got rid of Lineker, you couldn't replace him with someone just as good for 100k? And 100k is still excessive, I think, for being a football presenter. But then there's BBC News presenters that get a lot more than that. But they work a lot harder. You know, there are some news presenters that get more, well, not more money than Lineker, to be fair. They get more than the 100 grand I'm saying Lineker should be worth. But they work longer hours, have to do more research. No, it's not value for money. That's what we need to be discussing. And he's not going to get sacked. Like Gary Lineker in Twitter impartiality to our BBC journalist, and BBC urged to sack Lineker after he compares UK immigration policy to Nazi Germany. It doesn't matter. The boss of the BBC came out formally and said Gary can write whatever he wants on Twitter. That's not the debate. The debate we need to be having is, do you think he's worth 1.3 million quid? 8,000, what was it? 8,176 television licences. That's households that could be struggling at the moment. The cost of living crisis, trying to find 13 quid a month or 159 quid a year on top of all their other bills. Is that value for money? That's the debate we need to be having. So I think you get where I stand on it. I don't believe that he's value for money. I think you could do better. I know some presenters can command a huge salary. And good for them if they can. If they're skilled and talented, fair enough. I mean, Ant and Dec, God knows how much what they get paid, you know, but it's a commercial company that pays them, so it's immaterial. They can pay what they want. It's not public money. Is Gary Lineker worth 1.3 million quid a year? And remember, he took a pay cut. Didn't he take a pay cut of about 300k? I think it was. So he was actually getting more than that. I think it was 1.7 he was getting. He took a voluntary pay cut. Fair play to the man for taking a voluntary pay cut. But it's not like he's going down the food bank, is it? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully, I'll see you in another video again soon. Ta-da.